Hey, welcome to a new vlog episode, Aviana Aircraft Detailing. Today we're in North Carolina. I actually got here, well, it's kind of a complicated story of how I got here, but needless to say, I got here a little bit later than I had planned. So I spent all day polishing the fuselage and doing some various test areas here and there. This plane is giving me a lot of difficulty. It has a lot of oxidation and the paint is super porous. So as you remove the oxidation and that paint residue, it just gets sucked right back into the paint. So it forms these clay-like complexes. It's really important to keep clean pads and work small areas, which means it just takes a longer time. We're doing a multi-step paint correction on this. It was originally quoted for a one-step. I did the one-step, did the two-step right next to it, took a picture, sent it to the customer, and we both agreed that a two-step or multi-step correction would be much more worthwhile. Many of these areas that are kind of upward facing, I'm actually doing 3 to 4 steps of polishing. So we're doing a quick one-step knockdown to get the loose oxidation off. Then we're doing a more aggressive compounding step, which kind of does the main paint correction. Then we repeat that step as needed, and then we do a finishing step after that. So anywhere from 3 to 4 paint correction steps, which is also why it's going a little bit slower. That said, the results are worth it. So let me show you a few of the areas I've already done, and then I'm gonna jump back on the polisher and continue paint correction. So here's before, and here's after paint correction. So I'm working my way down the fuselage. I still got all of this to polish. Vertical stabilizer, horizontal underside. If you watch a lot of these videos, you know I usually like to have the fuselage done by the end of the first day, and we're not close to that yet. It's day 2 now. On the wing, I did some testing because the wings are basically the worst part of this particular plane. There's a lot of staining and oxidation. And you can see what that's looking like. So this part is done, and if you look up here, you can see a nice brightening. So that took a lot of cutting to do. Other challenges on this plane, we have 2 mess producing units. So we got double the oil, double the exhaust coming out. I got the underside cleaned on one side. I haven't done the other side yet. Just needed a break from that. But I'm going to jump back on polishing, get the paint correction going. This is going to be a little bit shorter episode with a little bit less video footage, just because I'm a little bit crunched on time. But I did want to make sure to get some footage to share this project, because it's an interesting plane. So thanks, and we'll touch back after paint correction. airplane is coated. It is Sunday morning now. That was a lot of work. Pretty tired. Anyway, so after paint correction, to get all that oxidation and staining off, I panel wiped the whole aircraft with an alcohol solution to get any oils off that might interfere with coating. Then coating is wiped on, wiped off, and the plane looks beautiful now. So let me show you how slippery this wing is now. So we got a coating bottle. Like it, I'm sure it has some angle, but it wasn't doing this before. See that gloss. Speaking of gloss, now we're gonna shine up the boots. So first we're gonna strip them, then we're gonna shine them. So that'll be next. After that, spinners, then we'll go inside, clean up the inside a little bit, and fly home. So before we can treat the boots with the sealant, we gotta strip them off first. And basically that prepares the surface and makes sure everything's clean and ready to adhere. This will also remove any old boot sealant you might have on there. So once you do this, you're kind of committed to finishing the job. So next step, after applying the prep solution, go over it with a wet microfiber towel. So like crap coming off. So the first pass I do pretty wet. Second pass, a little bit drier towel, and really just scrub that surface, make sure everything comes off. Next step, sealant. So you want to apply a lot of this because you got a large area to cover. So we basically just go. Now the key here is you don't want to stop and start. So that's why I apply a bunch to the applicator, set up my pattern, and just push. So you may notice I don't tape off around the boots when I do this. In many cases, the paint around the boot is quite fragile. It's a special conductive paint to allow a static charge to dissipate from the rubber into the metal. By taping that, you risk pulling it off. So for me, it's just easier to work carefully, and then I'll go around, and if I have any spots where I went over, I can use panel wipe to just wipe that up and make sure it's clean and good to go. Also, since we coated this airplane, stuff comes off a lot easier. So instead of soaking into the paint, you can see it beads up on top of it. See that? Time for my favorite part, interior. Check this out. That's a before and after. So since I don't want to get this too wet, I'm using a foam. Instead of spraying on a wet solution, we're going to use a foam and a brush. Normally we use this brush, right, with the really short hairs, but look at all the creases that are in here. We need something with longer hair, so we're going to use this brush. You just want to make sure you work in all directions to attack that grain from all sides. Then we take a microfiber towel and we wipe up all this dirty foam before the dirt all settles back in. You kind of want to pull the creases out a little bit just so you can clean in there. The Baron is done. Now, even though this was a short detailing episode, this was a very, very long project. Took a long time, but if you want to see more videos with more detail, subscribe to the channel. You can see more videos. We'll do another one of these at some point and put some more detail into the video instead of the actual work. But plane looks great. Owner's super happy with it. The interior made a nice turnaround. I'm gonna try and have him come to Cedar Rapids at some point and we can do some leather touch-up and repair because it needs it. But other than that, it looks fantastic. It's 20-year-old paint, more than 20-year-old paint, I think. So I'm happy with how it turned out. The owner's happy. It's a good day. It's a hot day. I'm gonna finish packing up, load up the car, go to Charlotte, try and sneak on an earlier flight. As for you guys, we'll see you next time.